You're watching the Emmy Award-winning Richard French live, only on RNN.
Welcome back. Last night on RFL, we looked back at the history of the Stonewall Riots, 6 days and nights of unrest in New York City's Greenwich Village. It sparked the beginning of the gay rights movement and, for many, the final unresolved fight for civil rights in America. Now, tonight, we used the 40th anniversary of Stonewall as an opportunity to move the calendar forward to the current as well as future focus of those demanding equality for gay Americans. Let's bring back Andrew Whitman, who filed last night's report and now has the follow-up.
Well, Rich, in many ways, these are the best of times for the gay rights movement, but they are anxious times as well. Gay rights initiatives are moving forward on several key fronts, and public opinion more and more seems to support those initiatives. But for others, those changes have not come fast enough, especially from a president who claims to champion their causes, which is why several hundred gay rights leaders found themselves at the White House yesterday.
I expect and hope to be judged not by words, not by promises I've made, but by the promises that my administration keeps.
It was a simple message from the president: be patient.
I suspect that by the time this administration is over, I think you guys will have pretty good feelings about the Obama administration.
It was in part to ease concerns we heard echoed last week at a gathering of Stonewall Riot veterans, the event that began the gay rights movement.
We still have a long way to go. We still have to pass the End Employment Non-Discrimination Act.
I'm not looking for acceptance from anybody. Never was, never will. I want every right that the straights have. That's all that counts to me.
Kathy Renna is a public relations specialist for a number of gay rights groups. She and her partner were at yesterday's meeting with the president. She says there are 4 specific items the gay community is looking for on a national level.
The first is hate crimes legislation that includes us. The second is the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. The third is repealing the Defense of Marriage Act. And the fourth is employment non-discrimination that includes gay and lesbian people and transgender people. Measures that would essentially extend all of the legal protections now extended to every other minority group to gay Americans and end the disparate treatment from one state to another. Take same-sex marriages. They're legal in Connecticut, among other places, but not only are they not legal in a slew of other states, but those marriages and the rights that come with marriage aren't even recognized in other places or by the federal government, and they're specifically outlawed in dozens of other states. But even equal legal protections do not necessarily guarantee equal social protections.
Teenagers come in and they're being harassed in their schools. They're being forced to make decisions about whether or not to even remain in school.
But as has been the case in every civil rights movement, social change and political change often go hand in hand.
The reality is that the cultural change often comes first. Politicians are the last ones to catch up with the culture.
Changing hearts and changing votes are very overlapping and mutually beneficial.
And changing hearts has been the real struggle behind every civil rights movement in American history. And it's no different for the LGBT community.
The major challenge we face is misunderstanding, ignorance, and some bigotry.
And even within the gay community, some groups have struggled more than others for respect and equality.
Like the transgender community, who I think still struggle because the most vitriolic prejudice and bias is directed at those of us who do not tend to conform as much. At the end of the day, homophobia is really just an extension of sexism.
While the entire community has had to fight back against those who use religion as justification for bashing gays and gay rights.
I don't know that people with real extreme religious beliefs can change their attitudes or their hearts. I'm not necessarily, I don't have a lot of hope for those people.
We are people of faith. This is not gay versus God. There are plenty of gay and lesbian people who have now gone back to reclaim their spirituality after being shut out.
So they told me there is no finish line in the struggle for gay rights. There is only the struggle and the promise of a better tomorrow.
The person who most often teaches me about what the goals are is my daughter, who's 3.5, and she totally gets it. She gets that, Mama likes to wear dresses and Mommy doesn't necessarily like to wear makeup, and that's me. And it doesn't make a difference to her.
Our kids will ask, is it true that 2 men couldn't marry not so many years ago?
Any successes in advancing gay rights in this nation should be tempered with a word of caution. The gains remain primarily regional, with most of the successes coming here in the Northeast and out west. And we got more evidence of that this weekend. Late Saturday night, precisely 40 years after police raid prompted the Stonewall Riots, police in Dallas raided one of its gay bars, the Rainbow Lounge. The explanation that it was a simple ID check of patrons. The patrons say police acted aggressively in a manner inconsistent with similar ID checks, leading to peaceful protests the next day. It's a reminder that while much has changed in the gay rights movement, much more has not. Rich?
Nice job. Thank you very much, Andrew. And tonight,